Welcome back to Network Africa. We're still on one of our main stories today here in Lagos, where residents at Itafaji are still lurching under the shock of the collapse of a three-story building yesterday, which left some occupants, including school children, injured. We have with us Yinka Oyeneji, a legal practitioner and African affairs analyst. He joins us to give us more perspective on the story. Thank you for joining us on Network Africa.
Thank you for the public service.
So Lagos State has been clamoring for special status as a megacity in the State National Assembly. Do you think it's possible, considering the building collapse that the state has witnessed at different times?
All right. First of all, it's amazing that we still do not have figures of casualties.
Yeah.
If there are fatalities and those we successfully rescued from the building collapse. But if we have lost people, I pray that the Lord Almighty will grant them rest. And I also pray for fortitude for the families and dependents to bear the losses. It's a shame, okay? That's what it is. I mean, there's no other means of describing this. Lagos, by every right, being a former federal capital territory, deserves that status, that special status, all right? Deserves to be a cosmopolitan city. But one of the issues militating against that, which bedevils the administration of government in Lagos State by stealth, is not being proactive or courageous enough to take the necessary steps. Now, from what has happened, nowhere in this world would you find in a city that is supposed to be mega city or cosmopolitan, a building just collapses. It doesn't happen by itself. All right. Now, I am a little not composed because I still rode on a bike past that street last week, Thursday. Oh. It was flooded. Till today, there's no drainage. It's Afaji, Aroloya, all the way from Adeniji Adele to Akongbo. There are no drainages. The buildings are constructed almost from their rear end to the street. I saw a woman doing commercial cooking right there on the street with a gas cylinder on the road. So that tells me that we cannot necessarily say we want to achieve mega city or a cosmopolitan state, as it were, right now, until we start preventing tragedies like this and until we have adequate, all right, enforceable laws without determining whose ox is God, and we have adequate response to emergencies. Yeah, we are very far from.
Which leads me to my next question. What do you make of the rescue efforts? What more could have been done?
All right, first of all, we need to hold government accountable for infrastructure. Last year, Lagos State budgeted about 2 billion for an additional fire truck. I don't know if that was even implemented, number one. So we need to prepare adequate response, emergency responses. I was sure that no equipment that is worth its salt will be able to make it to the crash site. The buildings that we were, the buildings that we were afraid to demolish in the first place, we took them down now within 24 hours to be able to even assess that crash site. So what we need to do for responses is to even have things like fire hydrants and emergency response services in different divisions of the state that can make it to places of emergency within 5 to 10 minutes at the very maximum, not to wait to demolish a building before accessing children under tense conditions.
Yeah, it's terrible. But what more do you think could be done to improve infrastructures on Lagos Island?
So this is the mandate I give the incoming governor of Lagos State. All right. Interestingly, Babajide Sanwo-Olu used to be, or maybe still, the chief executive of Lagos State Property Development Commission or Corporation. So we need him to take the bull by the horns. We know Lagos Island to be a place of heritage. All right. Right from the head of the White Cap chiefs, right from his palace, all the way to Akongbo. We need, as a matter of extreme urgency, because that place is prone to flooding. We are going to have floods in those areas in a few weeks. So he needs to relocate people from there and pull down that place. Let us build up Marina, all right, for what it is worth, so we can enjoy the environment, so that we can enjoy the view of the sea, so that more can be done even between Lagos Island and Apapa to keep those shanties built next to one another. And being afraid to take the bull by the horns would always militate against Lagos ever becoming one with special status.
African Affairs Analyst Yinka Oyeneji. Tragic story indeed, but thank you for joining us on Network Africa.
I really do hope that we can prevent it from happening next time.
Yeah, I hope so too. Moving on now to, unfortunately, another tragic story. Boeing has grounded its entire global fleet of 737 MAX aircraft after investigators uncovered new evidence at the scene of the fatal Ethiopian Airlines crash. The U.S. plane maker says it would suspend all 371 of the aircraft. Meanwhile, investigators in France are to take charge of the crashed Ethiopian Airlines jets, black boxes, seeking clues into a disaster that has left scores of families grieving and angry. The black boxes have arrived in Paris but are not yet in the possession of France's BEA, Air Accident Investigation Agency. The flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder is expected to be handed over to the BEA.
A long list of countries, including the United States, Canada and China, have grounded Boeing 737 MAX jets because of safety concerns. The ban comes after an Ethiopian Airlines plane crash that killed 157 people, the second disaster involving the 737 MAX in less than 5 months. Boeing, the U.S. plane manufacturer, says it continues to have full confidence in the safety of the 737 MAX. However, it added that after consultation with the Federal Aviation Administration and the National Transportation Safety Board, it had decided to ground its entire global fleet of 737 MAX aircraft out of an abundance of caution and in order to reassure the flying public of the aircraft's safety. The world's biggest plane maker is facing its most serious crisis in years, as the decades-old 737 program, one of its most reliable sources of cash and profit, takes a severe blow to its prestige. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, cited new satellite data and evidence from the scene of Sunday's crash near Addis Ababa for its decision to ground the planes. It was the second time the FAA has halted flights of a Boeing plane in 6 years. It had grounded the 787 Dreamliner in 2013 because of problems with smoking batteries. In the meantime, more families of the Ethiopian Airlines plane crash victims arrive in Addis Ababa with the hope of taking the bodies of their loved ones back home for burial. They are yet to get an assurance from the airline that this is possible.
As we end the program today, let's go dancing with South Africa's President, Cyril Ramaphosa, as he hosts the award-winning Soweto Gospel Choir. Our South Africa Bureau Chief, Betty Dibia, reports.
The reception was as executive as he could have it. President Cyril Ramaphosa himself was caught in the middle of it all. It's a third-time victory for the Soweto Gospel Choir, another Grammy feather to their cap.
For me, it's a real pleasure and a real joy to be standing here before the real heroes of our nation, people who have gone out into the world and showcased what South Africa is all about and came back having just scooped their third Grammy Award. So I congratulate you many times over and thank you for being as successful as you are. Thank you very much. You make us proud.
The group won the Best World Music Award for their album titled Freedom, a collection of anti-apartheid struggle songs recorded in June 2018 as part of the group's tribute to the 100 years of Mandela celebrations.
I'm absolutely thrilled. Actually, today when I was seeing them receiving the accolades from the president and the minister, it was just, for me, it's been 17 years, and to still get a Grammy after 17 years I'm so proud. I just almost had tears, because for them it shows that they still doing so well, that they still appreciated their music, that they're still even growing, that they haven't just stopped after the second Grammy.
Beverly Breyer co-founded the Soweto Gospel Choir 17 years ago with the late David Mulobetsi, who died in 2009. Their conquering ground still with a string of international awards, feel-good albums and memorable performances. From Johannesburg, South Africa, Betty Dibia, Channels Television News.
Congratulations to them. Well, that's it on Network Africa today. Thanks for watching. I'm Teniola Shoboale. Bye for now.